What is back up, Instagram and YouTube? I hope everyone's okay and good. In this video, we're going to be doing something different apart from reaction videos. In this video, we're going to be doing, it's going to be an installation for HPS hoses for your radiator and coolant reservoir. Now, these hoses are very different compared to your original and factory hoses. What I mean by this, I mean by for any type of vehicle you have. It could be it doesn't even have to be for a Mustang. It could be for a, for a Sabura. It could be for a any type of car you plan on, like modifying and like taking on the drag strip or the track. If you're planning on doing some racing, and like your original hoses, they cannot endure all that heat. They cannot withstand all that stuff. So basically, what I'm about to do is I'm gonna be replacing these hoses with I'm gonna be replacing the OEM factory hoses with the HPS hoses, and without going any further with this video, let me show you guys how they look like.
Could see right As you guys could see right over here, we have the HPS hoses. Now if you plan on doing some racing, or mainly this is for to keep your car cooler, just as to upgrading your aftermarket radiator. Now for this vehicle right here, I've upgraded the radiator to a Mishimoto radiator. So I upgraded the radiator, but still I feel like the car is, it still needs to be more cooler, and I just want to upgrade to silicone hoses. Now these are high quality silicone hoses. As you guys could see, they're very, they look beautiful, they're well crafted, and they look much better than the factory hoses. And we got this we got a plate from them, some stickers, the hardware and all that stuff. We got some stickers right there. And HPS, they make good quality hoses, way better than your OEM hoses that people normally have on their vehicles. I recommend upgrading to these. And without going any further, let me show you guys the installation. Now the installation is pretty much the same with all type of vehicles. It doesn't have to be necessarily a Mustang, but I'm gonna go show you guys on how I do it. And I'll go by step on how you do this process. It's literally the same thing on every single type of vehicle. And most importantly, for a first, if someone plans on doing this for the first time, it's not really that difficult. And I'll make sure the process very easier, as I'm going to show you guys in baby steps. So let me show you guys the installation process. This is 2011 Mustang, and the first thing I would like to go over is that before we do anything I mean to the to the vehicle, I think we should always disconnect the battery. Let me show you guys, of how you disconnect the battery. As you guys could see, this is my beautiful socket. It's for this job we need a 13 millimeter. So when we work on any type of car, I think it's always recommended to disconnect the battery, especially if you work on anything on the motor. So yeah, 13 millimeter socket for the negative. I'll show you guys how to remove the negative. I think I'll just disconnect the negative battery. It's not too I don't think it's necessary to remove both terminals. So yeah, I got it disconnected. Always make sure to not over tighten the battery. You don't want to over tighten it once you're done. But in my battery, I don't really like to over tighten things, because the more you over tighten, you may you're gonna break the bolts over time. So yeah, it's not really recommended to do over tightening your battery. And for you guys wondering what is all this yellow stuff, these are some interior lining that I have going down. But yeah, let me obviously we're gonna take this off right there. So we disconnected the battery, and now let's get down to the next step. The next step to this installation process is we'll first remove the radiator cap. We let's open it up. And as you guys could see, I'll have to change it out anyways. A very important thing I would like to discuss. We're going to first drain this coolant first before we even attempt to remove the hoses. Because I see many people on YouTube, they usually, there's like some individuals that I know, they usually don't do this. And when you don't do this, you know, for those people that are, you know, learning or new into, you know, working on cars, if you don't do that, then basically all, like for example, this hose, that hose you're gonna take off, or maybe even that hose right there, if you take all of that off, then you're basically gonna splash. It's gonna be like Splash Town over here, like a splash, like a aquarium inside this motor. You're gonna have coolant flying all over your motor, and you do not want that. And by the way, it's just a messy job, and it's very, you know, it's not the proper way to do so. First thing first, we must drain the coolant down of the vehicle, and you know, make sure that there's no coolant at all. And I do have very important thing, if I'm doing it in the garage, but for those people I seen on YouTube, make sure you have a tray for to hold all that coolant, because you don't want coolant to be falling underneath your vehicle. And this is very important for the environment. You don't want dead, like if you're working outside, you don't want dead cats or dogs like, you know, by your house, and you don't want to kill the environment or the animals. So make sure anytime when you drain your coolant, and I've seen many people, even mechanics, they never really, you know, some people don't give a damn about the environment. Make sure that you have a tray, you know, to hold all that coolant. And then, you know, this key is, you know, to, like, you don't want that coolant to be on your driveway, or maybe even like, you know, anywhere. And either you should spill it anywhere in the backyard or anything. You must recycle the coolant. And I heard people sometimes give it to AutoZone or, you know, O'Reilly, they accept them. You don't want dead animals or anything. You don't want to kill animals. So this is a very important thing for those people that, you know, ignore these type of things. Is we must protect, and it's important to protect the environment, because you know we got, like, I don't care what animal, you know, it could be a cat or a dog, or it could even be a rat or a possum. We don't want to kill the environment or the animals. We must ensure the safety for, you know, for the wildlife, and most importantly for ourselves. And for this type of job, what I'm gonna do is, as I, you know, told you guys, I got a tray. I'm going to be wearing gloves, because you don't want coolant to get on your hands, because you know it gives irritation towards your eyes, and you know it's not good for your skin. So I'm going to be wearing, for this, for the safety for myself, I'm going to be wearing gloves for this job, and I'm going to be doing that right now. So as you guys could see, I'm wearing gloves, and you know, they're, you know, rubber gloves you could get. You know, make sure when you work on anything, you know, with, especially with the coolants, you know, you don't want to get coolant on your skin. Make sure to always wear gloves, and I'll show you guys what to do in the next step of this video. The next step to this video is, you know, the coolant catch can. You know, this is basically a lasagna tray, but you know, this does the job either way. So what we're gonna do is move the, you know, the tray underneath towards the car, where you see the cap to take off the, there's like a, I don't know what you call that word, there's a cap to take that off. But we're gonna go underneath the vehicle and remove that, so that we could drain the old coolant off the car, so we don't, when we remove the hoses, we don't have anything having, you know, there's not gonna be Splash Town. So let's go do that. Okay guys, so I'm underneath the car. So the next thing we're about to do is, as you guys know, this is this radiator I upgraded to the original one. This is a Mission Motor radiator, and it's kind of hard to show you guys, but basically there's like a little, for my radiator, since it's an aftermarket radiator, I have a little thing to take the knob off, and if I take that off, the previous coolants will fall off the, you know, it's gonna drain underneath to this coolant, you know, this lasagna, you know, tray. So once I take this, you know, this little thing off, then it's gonna, all of it's gonna fall down. So for your car, it's pretty much the same thing. You gotta locate it, it's underneath. It's not gonna be too hard for your car, but for mine, my car's kind of too low, I believe. It's, yeah, it's pretty low, because I have this lip too, right? As you guys could see, this lip comes in the way. So without going any further, let me guys show you. This is the, if you get, well, maybe the camera might not pick up, but this is the thing to take off the coolant. So I'm gonna be removing that, and make sure when you do this job you wear gloves, because you don't want this to be on your skin, because it's coolant and it's not good for your skin. It'll give irritation. It's just not good. So always wear gloves when you do this, and I'm gonna be removing the coolant right now. So you're gonna see it come.
And once again, you guys want to make sure you're away from this because this is coolant. Coolant is dangerous for the environment. And just stay away from this chemical. But you guys get my point. This is the thing to remove. And you see my hands got wet a little bit. I have coolant on my hands, as you guys can see. And you know, that's why guys told you in advance to make sure you wear gloves when you do this job. As you guys could see, we're waiting when the coolant, you know, all of it drains down. And you know, this step I think is the most step where it takes the majority of the time. We have to wait when the car coolant finishes. And you know, make sure when you do this you have your tray. And most importantly, if you have any coolants falling on your garage or maybe out if you're doing it outside, make sure you get a paper towels and clean that area so that you know you don't have any dead animals or any type of that stuff. And you know, that's an important step because you don't want to leaving coolants as you know dangerous. So that's you know it's a safety precaution that I'm just advising all of you guys who are planning on doing you know flushing your either if you're flushing your coolant or if you're you know trying to do some type of you know modification like you know changing the hoses or something like that. So it's always best to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I have to say about which I hope some of you guys keep the safety for the environment and for other people, and most importantly wildlife and also human beings as well, because coolant is not good to you know keep you know anywhere. So there's some few places that I fell down in my garage, so I'm gonna go get a paper towel and clean it up, clean the mess up, so you know we don't have any coolant on the floors. So as you guys could see, this is the you know the green Gatorade we got right over here, and well, basically what I just did right now is I got the cap and I closed it down because this for some reason it took more than one because this you know it became full and I don't want this to splash everywhere. So let me you know find a safe place to take this coolant out, and I have to basically get another tray and keep on doing it. This step takes a long time. And so I'll get back to the video and show you guys the next step because this step is taking too much time because you know we have to take all the coolant down, and you know we don't you know it's gonna take a second tray to take all this out. So let me do that and get back to you guys. Okay, so yeah, I drained my coolant reservoir. As you guys can see, it's you know we don't really got anything now. It's all flushed out, and so I took the nut off, and you know there's no coolant obviously. So yeah, the next step towards this installation is we'll just do it in baby steps, and we'll remove this. We'll start off with this one right over here. We're gonna remove the factory radiator hose, and we're gonna disconnect it off. And for this type of thing, you could use something like this. You know, you could use that to ply it off. You know, to take it off, like some squeeze this the clamps, and then you basically remove them out of the thing. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. Okay, so YouTube. So I removed the old one, the old. Let me show you guys. The old, like I told you guys before, we started out with the small one, so we took that one out, and onto the new one. I hadn't clamped it yet. It's just to display you guys. Basically, I already had the clamps tightened down. So this clamp, obviously, I have to loosen it up a little bit because I think I put it too tight. So we're gonna put this one inside there, and that's how it looks. And I'll show you the final results later on. All right, you guys. So I got the first one done. As you guys can see, it looks very beautiful, and it looks better than the original one. So next, we're gonna be going to this one. We're gonna tackle down this one right over here. As you guys could see, I'm doing. I'm gonna tackle this one down with like this. Then you basically, once you do that,
You basically just, you know, take the clamps off like that. So that's what I'm about to be doing.
So now I got this one finished and I got that one finished.
Now the next one, we're gonna go a little bit bigger. We're gonna go to this one right over here. We're gonna change this one out with the other one, as you guys could see. And so, you know, like the other ones we did, you see the clamp, we use this tool and then basically hold the clamp and then basically ply it off. It'll come off, but with a little bit of force. So yeah, same thing with the other one right over here. You take the other one off and you basically do the same step as I'm about to show you guys. You know, it's kind of hard to do on camera, but you know, you ply this off and it comes off right off. And then I'll show you guys the new one that I put on.
Okay, YouTube, so we're back, and this one was a very, it was a pain in the butt to remove this clamp, because, you know, over time, for all these years, they've been sitting, and I finally removed it, and we're on to put the new one on, and the new one is, right over here, this one. So we're gonna go put this one on. Moving fast forward, I got everything done. I couldn't get some of it on camera because, you know, this type of job, it gets very messy and, you know, coolant spills everywhere, but I'll explain it a little bit about what I did. I made sure everything was tightened out. You know, that hose right there was also tightened out. That one is also tightened out. The one on the bottom was the difficult one, as you guys can't see really. The one right there, well, you can't really see it, but yeah. And then I put the intake back on, the intake and everything. You know, basically just screw everything back up how it was. It wasn't too difficult. The most hardest part of this whole install was mainly that hose right there, because for some reason it got stuck. And then after that, I was basically fighting my whole life into it. It was a very difficult process to do that, and basically I'm done with the install for the HPS hoses for the, you know, for the radiator, and yeah. During the install, I also decided to upgrade to a metal version of a coolant reservoir. This doesn't really do any gains. This is mainly for cosmetic purposes, and I like it the way it's like silver aluminum type of thing, a little metallic, a little bit into it. It looks better than the OEM coolant reservoir, and I like it. I reused the stock cap, and basically, oh yeah, and then, you know, obviously I, you know, just put a sticker, you know, just for, you know, for looks, and yeah, basically that's it. I just, you know, as you guys could see, I cleaned it. It got really dirty, the hoses, so I decided to clean it up, and yeah, I got all of them on. They're all secured and clamped. I even started the vehicle. It starts right up. Everything's one thing to make sure of is when you do this type of job, you should first, you know, once you got everything clamped on, close the cap of the radiator, and then, you know, open this up. I mean, not open this up, but start your car and then see how much coolant there is in your car, because you have to because usually the car, you know, everything resets again. So then after, you basically have to keep the levels. You need to make sure the levels are checked and accurate, and you know, make sure that you have coolant in your car, because sometimes the levels go up and down. Make sure you check on that inside your car when you start it up, and make sure, you know, you have to keep starting the car and then, you know, closing it, or maybe even drive it to check the level of how much coolant you got in your car. And basically that's pretty much it for this install of this video. I hope you guys like this video. Something pretty, you know, different I did. The hoses look very good. I'm pretty sure it's gonna cool down. The car's gonna cool down much more better than the OEM rubber ones, because these are silicone ones. So that's a, you know, that's a bonus for me. And I hope you guys like this video and it was quite helpful. If there's any questions you have regarding about the install, yeah, message me on Instagram, and message me, you know, comment down below if you have any questions. But yeah, the install was very time consuming because of some clamps were very difficult to get through, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys like it. To end this video, I decided to give you guys a little bit of a cold start. A cold start of, you know, of the car before I end the video. Yeah, one thing to make sure is that you gotta keep up with the gauges to see how, you know, cool your car is. So that's something to look at, but, you know, just wanted to give you guys a sound clip. Hope you guys like this video. Give a thumbs up, and most importantly, have a rest of your fantastic, beautiful, spectacular, whatever you call it. That is my saying of every single video. Best of your day. Peace out.